Guys, welcome back to the Desert Road. Today we have a very special episode. This is my personal car, the 2023 Audi RS6. I've owned her for about 10 months. Sadly, she's gonna be going away soon because you know me, I don't keep cars around for too long. I'm gonna give you the full breakdown, what it's been like owning this with a family, driving around town, taking it around town, putting on some miles, and just my overall views on the car, because people talk about a lot of pros, a lot of cons. I'll sum it all up for you. We'll go take her on a brief drive and do a quick look around. Let's go. Guys, before we jump into the review, make sure you check out the rule of cars below. It teaches you exactly how to buy and sell cars, just like this RS6. Keep them for a short duration, get out of them without losing any money. If you're interested in learning how I do this, click the link below. Let's go. Guys, starting this RS6 exterior walk around, as you can see, it's finished in this ultra beautiful, it's actually called ultra blue metallic. It just absolutely dazzles. They made only about 120 of these between 2022 and 2023. This is one of the last few. They changed it up to a Scary blue right after that. As you can see, it's my favorite color on the RS6. Totally makes it just beaming and gleaming in the flesh over here. Comes with the black optic package. This does not have the carbon optic package. So you can see all the bits, including all the lip spoilers, are just finished in gloss black. I think it pairs very well against the ultra blue. Some other colors look good with the carbon. I think this looks absolutely killer with the gloss black. It just matches the rest of the car very well. As you can see, the blacked out Audi rings over here, the badging, the side mirrors, all the window trim, so it gets rid of all the chrome that you get without the black optic package. And of course, you get these gorgeous 22-inch wheels. Absolutely stunning. Audi knocked the design on these out of the ballpark. It's one of the bigger wheels they put on the car. They look absolutely great. As you can see, on top of that, the brake calipers, absolutely massive on the front and back. These are not the carbon ceramic ones. There's the trade-off you get with the carbon ceramics, which are typically on the louder side. The con of these brakes is the brake dust pumped off of them is enormous. These wheels got to be cleaned all the time. Literally after a couple drives, you get so much dust on there, you got to rinse it off, and it's back to starting ground on that. Again, part of the black optic package right here, you got this little lip in black. Looks great. Walking around to the back here, nothing too out of the ordinary. You got the diffuser, again, finished in gloss black. This car is equipped with a sport exhaust, so black exhaust tips as well. Looks great. Audi blacked out the rings, blacked out this bar. Just overall, just such a handsome devil of a car. No bad angle on this at all. Every single bit and piece on this looks outstanding. Let's open the trunk up. I'll show you real quick what the room on here is like. It's amazing. In short, there's so much space back here, about 30 cubic feet behind the rear seats. The beauty of something like this, especially for a daily driver, is how much real estate of ground space you have here. So although it's not as tall as some SUVs, it just goes deep very far. So you can stack, you know, you can stack baskets and bags and then fill it up with groceries, and you have just tons of room here on the ground floor. Very, very good use of space here in the back. Same thing, moving around. The back seat space on here is outstanding as well. As you can see, there's plenty of room for two full rear-facing child seats on here. Audi gives you a lot of back seat space on this. If you don't have the child seats, there's plenty of passenger room here in the back. It's very adequate, big enough door opening over here. Overall, fairly well executed. The one con I must say with this car, especially if you have kids and you got to load them up into the car, the short ceiling height makes it a little bit of a tough hurdle to get the kids in and out of the car seats, particularly because of this short roof. So something you got to think about if you're shopping this against other SUVs. Next, we're going to jump inside, take a look at the interior, and go on a drive. Let's go. Guys, before we jump inside, let me point out a couple things. This car comes with the executive package, so it's got full leather on the upper trim of the door as well as the dash. You get the heads-up display with that, and soft closed doors, absolute must. I've seen some of these RS6s equipped without it. Don't get one without it. It literally makes the car, makes it feel so much more premium. You can see this one also has the RS design package. So it's got the Alcantara steering wheel, Alcantara shift knob, and the piping, the red piping here in the seats. Looks absolutely stunning, very fitting for a car like this. It's got the lit up door sills over here, the RS6. Again, looks great, especially at night. It's got the RS6 puddle lights. You cannot see them during the daytime. Obviously, at night, they project onto the ground. This matte carbon fiber trim, very nice executed. Looks great. Got a little bit of aluminum. The suede right here on the doors as well. Again, very, very nice use of materials by Audi. They do it very well. They're the king of meshing different textures and materials together into one cohesive part. It's just absolutely stunning on every part of this vehicle. The sound system, it has the Bang & Olufsen, the regular one, not the 3D upgraded one with the tweeters. I've listened to both. There's not that much difference between them. The one with the extra speakers is a tad nicer, but this one is very adequate. Audi does Bang & Olufsen fairly well. So overall, I have no complaints on this unless you're just like bumping out really hard. Next, let me get in here, discuss some of the other couple of features, and then we'll go on and drive. All right, jumping into the interior. Again, pointing out, one of my favorite features that Audi incorporates into this car is just the build quality is so awesome. I can't overstate it enough. It's the best car built that I've owned. I mean, again, everything, including the dash, the center console, the doors. I mean, everything just feels like a brick. And again, as it should for $140,000 MSRP that this car costs. There's literally nothing underlooked in this car. Every single button, every single click is just top notch. So very, very awesome. Infotainment, you guys are probably already used to this and you've seen this on previous cars. Executed very well. Literally no glitches, no problems with this at all. AC works well. I like the placement of the vents. It's fairly cold. I've never had or experienced AC issues with almost any other Audi I've owned before. Some people complain of this touchscreen interface over here for AC controls. It has never bothered me because, again, it's always on. You don't need to go to a different menu. And then everything else you control through here, including Apple CarPlay, including navigation. So very nicely split up, very accessible. You don't got to reach too far anywhere. Just overall, very, very good. No glitches, works close to flawless for me. Heated and cooled seats in here as well. Just very, very handy in the Arizona, shall we call, warmer days over here. So all of this works fine. No complaints. I like the electronic cluster over here. It's slightly customizable. There's a couple different modes you can get into. Very simple. Just gives you all the information you need. Nothing too crazy over here at all. Love the heads-up display. It's a must for me, especially on a daily driver of any car I drive. I like seeing the speed limit showed right in that window as well. You got the two roofs split up over here. It's not just this long continuous roof, so you can control the shades individually. Only this one opens up. I like the fact that it's fully blacked out on here. Some Audis give you the full moon roof, but then put like a partial shade on here. Here you have pretty much 100% light blockage on here. Again, helps, especially in these warmer climates. It's got the cool mirror here without the frame. Unfortunately, due to some version of part shortages, a lot of the 23s did not come with the Alcantara headliner over here, but this is still very nice premium material, fitting for a car, makes it feel sporty. Ergonomics in here. This is, again, one of the cons, especially for my body type. I'm not ultimately supremely comfortable in this car. For some people, it fits like a glove. I've been in better sedans and especially SUVs. Something is always just slightly off for me. The seats are tight, but not overly so. One of my gripes is that these bolsters are not adjustable. So either on the bottom or on the side. For an RS car, they really should be in this price segment. And again, the thigh support is manual as well. So again, The seats is one of the weaker points in here. Audi could have engineered slightly better seats with better adjustability. So that's one of the things I would have liked changed. I must also add that the storage space, and as other reviewers harp on this as well, it's very, very minimal. Again, almost every new Audi, especially along this RSQ8, SQ7 class, there's just not much space to store stuff up front. Very small cup holders, as you can see, very little space back here as well, which brings me to another con where the wireless phone charger is. It's very inconvenient to open this up to put it over here. Just you keep either forgetting it and then the car reminds you to grab your phone, or just you got to keep putting it in and out. I don't like this location for a wireless phone charger. Very little space on the doors here as well to store water. You almost got a contortion water bottles in here. So storage space just sucks, but it could be improved, especially as a daily use family vehicle. You want some extra space to just throw your stuff in here and go. Now, let's go into my favorite part, which is taking it on a drive. We'll cover the good and the bad and wrap it up. Let's go. All right, in the driver's seat, driving the RS6. First of all, I must say, I'm a big Audi person. I love the RS cars. The balance infused into them is just spectacular. I forgot to mention in the earlier section, the steering wheel size, flat bottom, and Alcantara material is absolutely amazing. Great feel in the hands, instantly makes you feel like you're driving something special. Driving off, starting to drive, it honestly, especially in like auto mode or comfort, it doesn't feel too much of a different drive than just a normal Audi, any other car. There's no loud noises. The acceleration, it's tuned to be very almost laggy. A lot of people complain about the lagginess unless you're in sport mode over here. So overall, just a slow throttle tip in. You would think you're kind of driving just an everyday 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder car, not a V8 twin turbo beast over here. When you get into it, it definitely all changes. One of the other things you do notice driving is the car feels overall it's just heavy. It sits very firmly on the road, feels very solid. It does feel like a heavy car. Maybe not as big or as heavy as some of the SUVs, but overall, you do feel the weight of this car quite a bit. I do enjoy that. It feels solid on the road. It feels like a very premium drive as well. I must also note, for those of you that don't know, all these RS6s in the USA are equipped with rear wheel steering. So around any turn, around any bend, or parking lots, it makes driving just that much sharper and makes this feel like that much of a smaller car. All the inputs are great, fairly linear. Nothing in this car feels on edge. Just driving it, accelerating, braking. The brakes are firm. They're grippy, but they don't bite like the carbon ceramics brakes do. So this car, driving this, does not feel like this car belongs on a track or anything similar. And day to day, it's very spectacular. Again, what Audi did with this car, and it's marveled as such, is just a balance of a family use vehicle and enthusiast car that meshed together does not exist better in almost any other car. Other things you notice, very, very hush in here. On these 22s, I'm almost shocked at the lack of road noise coming off these tires. It just blends it in so well into the air suspension of the car. The windows front and back are dual pane, so it does an excellent, excellent job keeping all the noises outside out. All right, guys, no review is complete, especially in a car like this, without a little bit of an acceleration burst. You can do a couple downshifts. And again, even on the loud exhaust mode, the camera might not even pick up fully what this car sounds like. Let's go. Snaps are very fast, very responsive. Overall, this engine is wonderful in here. This V8, I love this line of engines. I had the previous RS7, just overall marvelous. They've perfected them to no end. They use them across the Panameras, the Bentleys, just they're in so many cars. This engine is a marvel. It works really well in here. I kept this car fully stock again to keep it under warranty and having family duties. I didn't want to lower it or mess around with any of that too much. This car is very mod friendly. A lot of people go and throw tunes on here. It's very easy to lower this car, change up the wheels. There's throw an exhaust on here. There's a lot of mods you can do. I kept this stock. Again, this was my daily driver. I didn't want to mess with it too much. Now, let me get into one of my bigger cons or gripes, and that's how this car is on the freeway. That's something I noticed, especially on not the best of surface. With the 22-inch wheels, you do feel the road quite a bit, especially rolling at higher speeds. This would not be my choice of car for a longer family trip. A lot of people use it that way. A lot of people rave about it. But if I was to take a multi-hour trip, again, this to me is not the best weapon of choice overall. So that's one of my gripes of where this sits. And again, it's partially due to just the construct, the bigger wheels, the low profile tires. It's just not the best car for freeway use, especially for me. All right, guys, moving into 3 likes, 3 dislikes of the car. Like number 1 is the looks. I absolutely love this car from every single angle. It looks fantastic from the front, from the back. No element has been left untouched or undone. It's a stunning car. It just looks beautiful. Audi knocked it out of the ballpark. My number 2 like is the fantastic build quality. Every single knob, panel, closing of the doors, every single switch just feels perfected to no end. I like an expensive car to feel like an expensive car, and this car does not disappoint in any way. Every single panel, every single thing on here has been over-engineered to death. And my number 3 like is just the overall versatility of this car. So whether you're by yourself in here and you want to have a little bit of fun, open it up with the rear wheel steering, it makes this car a joy to toss around and just take around bends and twists. And then you go to pick up your kids, you throw them in the back, you load up the strollers in the trunk, you have space for the entire family in here. Just an overall good blend of practicality and performance. All right, moving into the dislikes. And this is actually a little funny because I'm having a really hard time coming up with my 3 dislikes. This car is engineered to almost a perfection, but if I had to think about 3 things, number 1 is ergonomics of this car. Just overall, especially for my body type, with these seats where some of the location position of things is just, I'm not at my utmost of supreme comfort. This affects the long distance driving for me and just overall sitting in the seat. Audi could have also engineered these seats better. Between the manual bolster over here, the thigh support that gets adjusted to these side bolsters, there could be more adjustability, including a massage function. Number 2 dislike is the storage space over here. Again, I'm not one to pack out my car with just a whole bunch of stuff, but we're talking even basic things like having some space for coffee. I would like even space for my phone without having to put it into the glove box if I have drinks here. So overall, just a little bit annoying. Throwing the water in on the door over here, it requires a little bit of maneuvering as well. So just not my favorite. And I'm really pulling for strings on the 3rd one, but my 3rd dislike would be just kind of engagement and the fun out of this car. It's a very nice, very well-built vehicle, and just because of its dual-natured purpose, it takes some of the fun out of it. It could be just more engaging. It could have slightly more sound. Just overall, just pumped in, just give it a tad more of that kick that we're looking for, especially if we're by ourselves trying to have fun. It's a little too subdued. It's a little too reserved and calm, which is the nature of the Audi RS cars. But overall, I would just like to see some more of that in here. So, guys, let's wrap this up. We've taken a nice drive in here. I've told you my pros and cons. This is one of my favorite cars owned to date. It's gonna be really hard to part with this. As far as a blend goes, it really does not get any better than this. All in all, nothing but great things to say about this car. So, thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time on the Desert Road.